Just stop. If your trading account feels like a slot machine, then this video is for you. I'm going to give you 5 brutal reasons why you're losing in trading and exactly what to do to fix each one. No fluff, just real practical steps. The first reason, to be honest, is you're a gambling addict. You need to be honest with yourself. Like, are you actually following a plan? Or are you buying something just because you have that special, warm, fuzzy feeling that it's going to go up or down? Like, do you actually even know what your edge is or have an edge at all? Or do you just show up to the market just kind of hoping and praying that you do? Are you showing up hoping for massive amounts of excitement and adrenaline and fun rather than showing up and trying to make money in a boring, consistent, not exciting way? If not, then you might be a gambling addict. In real trading, you actually have to have a framework that you're working through. And if you go off of this framework, then you're going into gambling territory. Like, do you even know what your entry criteria is? Do you know what your risk management is? Do you understand your entire plan and have it back tested through months and years of data? Do you know what your win rate is? Do you know what your percentages are? Like, do you even have an edge, or are you just following some random YouTuber that tells you there's an edge and now you're following it? The second reason that you're not doing great at trading is because your risk management is just fly by night. It's terrible. You're trading like a degen. You see a trade coming and, oh, this trade looks pretty good. Let's just risk a little extra on this one because I'm almost sure that it's going to go up. So you've bought yourself into this illusion that you can predict the market and that you know exactly what's going to happen next. And this is the trap of a beginner, of a trader who is not going to do well because they think that there's some magical way that, oh, I know for a fact that this is going to happen. Like, if you find yourself getting into those types of words where you're like, this is going to happen, or I'm positive, or I'm sure, or this could never happen, like, get away from that type of language. I'm telling you, it's impossible to know what the market is going to do for sure. If you're doing that, then you have no structure. You have no structure in your risk management. You're all like whoopsie daisy all over the place. One moment you have 2 minis, and the next moment you have 5 micros and everything in between. You're just adding random contracts and you're subtracting random contracts, and suddenly you're hitting the reverse button in the middle of a trade. It's a total disaster. I'm not saying that dynamic sizing is a horrible idea altogether, but if you're going from 5 micros to 2 minis, it's just way too big of a jump. You're 4xing your risk all of a sudden out of the blue. And if you're not making money, you're actually losing a crap ton of money, then it's probably better just to keep your risk management fixed for a little while until you actually have that proven edge and you actually have like consistent data showing that you're making money. And if you stink at trading right now, then stop trying to make money. Just stop losing money. And the third reason that you're not doing well with trading is because taking a loss for you feels like your entire world is crumbling down around you and someone has threatened your very existence. Like, you take a loss and it eats you up and you freak out and you get mad and you get tilted and you want to make that money back. This is a recipe for failure. To be a great trader, you have to be pretty humble. Like, you need to know that you're going to be wrong and you need to be okay with that. So you need to understand that losing is a part of the game. And part of being a great loser is you don't get attached to monetary figures. Like, you don't get attached to the amount in your account. Like, let's say you have a $10,000 account and you lose $500 one day and you lose $500 the next day, but you still have in your mind that account had $10,000 in it 3 days ago or 2 days ago or whatever. And so now you're becoming anchored to that amount of money that you think you should have rather than the actual reality of what you actually have in the account right now. And this creates that discrepancy in your mind of like, I need to make that money back. And those words are the most dangerous words you could ever say in trading. Like, this is what spirals people into that never ending spiral of like over trading and revenge trading and just that darkness and doom that you can't recover from. Because the more you try to make your losses back and make your money back, then the more size that you need to put on, and the more that snowball continues downward until you just blow up your account. So that's why processed focused trading is so incredibly important. It's not about the loss that you took yesterday, and it's not about the win that you took today. It's about, did you follow your process? Did you have a plan in the first place? Like, did you follow your rules? Grade yourself based on that. And then that's more important. Like, grade yourself on that and not based on P&L. Which leads me into the fourth reason that you're failing at trading. You break your rules just because you feel like it. Like, it just feels like the right thing to do. Of course, you don't want to take a loss in that moment. So it feels better to put on a new position or want to get your money back. And you're being driven by the way you feel and the way you're thinking. And you move your stop loss as the trade comes towards your stop loss because it's super painful to take a loss and you don't want to feel that pain. So the way you feel in the moment is that you don't want pain. Like, I don't want to feel this way. And so you move your stop loss over time, and if you were to put that back into a backtesting simulator and you put that bad behavior in where you just kind of feel like doing things that are off plan, then you would turn an actual profitable strategy into a not good strategy, like the one that's going to blow up your account. And that's what's hard about trading, is that you need to not take behaviors based on how you feel. The less driven you can be by your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts, the better trader you'll become. And to do that, you have to build a buffer zone. Like, you have to be aware of everything going on inside of your body and inside of your mind. And you watch all those things happening all day long, and you watch your emotions saying like, enter this trade now, and you watch your feelings saying like, we just move this stop loss a little bit, and watch your thoughts racing around in your head while you're in your trade. Like, you need to be able to separate yourself as the observer from all that stuff going on inside of your head, so that you can build a little buffer zone between your thoughts and your actions, to where you're not so impulsive and so reactive. So until you know that you have a problem, you can't change it. You can't correct it. So until you notice all the ways that your feelings and your thoughts and your emotions are leading you astray and leading you off course to do the wrong thing, then you can't really change it, because you don't even know what's happening. So basically what I'm trying to say here is mindfulness and becoming the observer non-judgmentally of your thoughts and your feelings, and build that space in between them so you're not so impulsive based on how you feel. You're not just doing things because you feel like doing it. And the fifth reason that you're not doing so great at trading is because you have no structure of discipline, not in your daily life and not in your trading. You're kind of just hoping for the best and showing up and hoping that it works. But in my opinion, it's so important that you actually have a structured process of how you improve daily. Like, how do I prevent myself from making the same mistake I made yesterday today? Because that's really the only thing that matters. If every single day you're gathering data on yourself, on the biggest mistakes that you make, and on the way that you relate to trading and the way that you relate to losses, so that way you don't need a video like this to tell you. You can see it in yourself where you're going wrong, and you have that self-awareness that you can self-correct. If you have the ability to take responsibility and accountability, and you're reflecting every single day on where you went wrong, and I don't mean just kind of reflecting, I mean like sitting down and being like, okay, what was the trigger? Like, what was the actual moment that things started to go off the rails and I started to spiral into that blown account, or spiral into that big red day when it could have been a small red day? Like, you need to process every single day to identify those things and actually put rules in place to help you prevent them in the future. So if you are let's say you suck at taking a loss. Like after the third trade, you get super tilted. Then the rule you need to put in place is to walk away after 2 trades. So you put some protective mechanisms in place and lead yourself to further profitability. And that leads me to one of the biggest reasons that you're failing at trading, and that is because of tilt. Tilt is probably the number one killer of traders. Anger, frustration, just being super like pissed off. It's super natural to feel this way. There's nothing wrong with you because you feel tilted, because you feel angry, or because you feel frustrated. Like, it's inherently annoying to lose money and to be wrong. We all, professional traders, feel that way too. But the level of which it threatens your identity, like the level of which it threatens who you think you are, is how tilted you're actually going to feel. And what I mean by this is, if you attribute all this meaning to taking a loss, like it means that I'm a failure, and that it means that I'm never going to amount to anything, and it means that my dad was right and I'm not going to be successful, and this means that I'm a horrible human being, like, then of course you're going to feel extremely mad when you take a loss, because there's so much other stuff tied to it. And you may not realize that this is happening, but it's being driven by your past beliefs and your past trauma and the way you see the world and the way you see money. So you have this certain lens, like a certain narrative in the way that you see the world, and all of it's based on your mental programming. You have these certain filters, the way you see the world. So someone who just sees the world through the filter of like losses don't really mean anything outside of just probability. They just have that belief. So when they take a loss, the only frustration that they feel is in the moment, the actual sting of taking a monetary loss. But if you're making your trading your entire life, like, let's just say that you told your spouse that this has to work and I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to pay my mortgage with this. And then your spouse is kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work, and I don't know if you're going to succeed. And then you take a loss. Now you have all of this tied up in that loss, like all the emotions around it, and all just everything around you makes you want to be a successful trader. And there's so much tied into it, when really it's actually just one loss. It's not that big of a deal. But that's why it's so difficult for you to take a loss. So you kind of just need to zoom out and get the full picture of what's going on. And that's another reason why it's so crucial that you prove your strategy through back testing, because you need to know, you need to be able to see what the whole thing playing out looks like over months and over years. You need to see the ups and downs and the sideways, and the time when, you know, your profits are going to be really good and the times when the profits are going to be really bad. Like, maybe knowing in your back testing that, okay, I went on a 3-day losing streak in my back testing, and that's normal. It's part of the entire process. In my back testing results, maybe I lost 5 or 6 times a year in a row. Like, maybe I had 5 or 6 weeks over the year, or 10 or 12 times a year where trading was just bad. Like, if you have that in your data, then you know it's not abnormal, and you can make decisions and understand based on data. All right. So all 5 reasons, they really connect to one skill: becoming the observer. Notice your thoughts and your feelings without reacting. That tiny space between impulse and action is where that discipline lives. So a couple practical steps for that. 1, pause for 10 seconds before entering or changing a trade. And then name that reaction. Like, I feel tilted because of this, or I want revenge because of this. Figure out what your emotional triggers are, all right? And then create a response for those triggers. Like, when this happens, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to get up and go get a snack. Figure out your strategy and really dial it in, you guys. Make those changes. Fixing trading isn't sexy, you guys. It's boring, it's slow, it's deliberate. But boring means that your account is going to survive, and survivability is what equals profitability.